Those people who want me to ask, they
What is this trip meant to you?
So much. It's funny that you're interviewing me today because I had a moment with my colleague and my roommates and my pal in the program, Ashley. We had a really touching moment today over breakfast about how this was really an amazing trip, and it's just words can't express how good it was. We were crying and all that type of thing. So I just feel really honored and blessed to be here.
And what is this trip meant for you?
Wow. There were a lot of tears in this trip. This trip has been super emotional, and being able to have the opportunity to have my feet planted back on this continent where my ancestors come from has been something that has been invaluable to my life, and I know it's going to be something that's going to be invaluable to my family's life as I go back and I share some of the experience that I've had. So it's been amazing.
What is something that you learned on this trip?
So much. I think what I learned is the beauty of the diaspora. I knew about it. I knew being a part of the diaspora was important. I knew it was special. But for the first time in a long time, I felt how beautiful it really is and how interconnected we actually are. Continents may separate us, but the spirit of our ancestors, they don't. And I feel that. So, yeah, I think I learned about the power of the diaspora.
What is something that has brought you joy on this trip?
What has brought me joy is the convergence of our intellect, the conversations that we have had, the very careful thinking, and also the challenge and how we have been able to stay within discourse even if we don't readily agree. So I really appreciate everybody's thoughts and intelligence and academic backgrounds coming together and us holding each other throughout the process.
What has been one moment of joy or laughter that you had on this trip?
All aboard, Rutgers! I'm gonna hear that in my sleep for the next forever. But just everything that's been planned. I don't know. Every day I'm saying this is my favorite part of the trip, and then the next day comes oh, this is my new favorite part. So yeah.
Hey. What has been something that has brought you joy or laughter on this trip?
Well, I love our big group conversations, and something that's been bringing me joy that I know I've repeated so much, but it's the opportunities that we have to experience what life is like here. So getting to be where we are today and be in cities, and of course I really enjoyed the Cape Point excursion and going on the safari. So that has all brought me joy, but really just the whole trip has been so amazing.
What has been something that has brought you laughter on this trip and joy?
Just the people and Dr. Clark himself. He's a very funny guy. So yeah, Dr. Clark too.
Great. Thank you.
DJDC.
What I learned in this trip, and as mostly we came from Africa. This is where we came from, even with this part in different parts of the world. And now I may consider myself as Afro-Caribbean. And then being here, I learned a lot from the story specifically of the South Africa. Probably I've seen the book, I've seen other things, but being there, I get the real experience of it. I understand the struggle of those people, even they have a great story. They have like a Nelson Mandela taking over after power, after waking up like the system of the apartheid, but I've seen like people still struggling. I think as a change agent, I think I encourage other people to learn more about the real story. Even in the US should know more specifically about the real story in order to make the world a better place for people to live.
I would like to really thank Dr. Clark for this opportunity. Quite honestly, I don't know what I was expecting on this trip, but what I have experienced has certainly gone above and beyond my expectation. And I think Dr. Clark has put in a lot of work into the experience that we've had, a lot of care into the experience that we've had, and it definitely shows, right? And so I initially I wasn't thinking about how difficult it might be for like one person to be handling so much, but he's been doing so much in the background.
My name is Darren Clark, and I direct the South Africa Initiative for Rutgers University. What's most important is that when students have an opportunity to learn about themselves, experience some dissonance and some triggering experiences and moments, either within the group that's traveling or outside of the group in the community, or any of the communities in South Africa that we engage with. Students have an opportunity to think critically about what's happening in their minds and in their hearts, and then make the adjustments that we all make when we reach those edges of growth and learning, developing as our best selves. So since we're in the winelands, what do you do when you're in the winelands?
Drink wine.
So we're gonna taste some wine.
Yeah. What is something that you learned on this trip?
Oh, what did I learn? I learned a lot more about myself. I know this might sound cliche, but I learned more. I learned how to be more connected to my roots and diaspora and ancestry across the waters, right? So like, I'm very knowledgeable about where I come from. I was raised that way in my family, but to actually physically be here and experience it in the physical, we did this thing this morning at this wonderful NGO, Pies. I'm just to be physically present, intellectually present, emotionally present, just kind of like, and spiritually present, that's the S, is what I learned how to do, especially with an experience like this where it could just seem so surreal at times, but I think that's what helped. That's what I'm learned and I'm gonna take away with me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I would say the things that have brought me joy, brought me laughter, are those moments that I've been able to have with my fellow classmates. I think being able to make these connections here, to talk about the social issues that are affecting South Africa, relating them back to the issues that we face in America, that Black folks face in America, making those connections, and then also still being able to see the hope that we all have for the work that needs to be done is something that's brought me joy.
And what makes it possible for SAI to happen every year?
So aside from having just a phenomenal group of students that apply. Usually about a dozen are selected. We are fortunate to have partners here at the university. Study Abroad is a partner of GSE, SAI, and just last year they established a Global Fellows program. In that effort, I actually have a co-facilitator who happens to be a Rutgers Student Affairs Administrator, early career, who has skills to bring to the SAI experience. So this person works as my co-facilitator. We've done this now 2 years. This year it was Kiwan Kolk from the Center for LGBTQ Communities. And I found this so valuable because during the 18 days while we're there, students, the GSE students that are, while we're there during the SAI program over the summer, the daily activities impact the students or the dynamics of that group in various ways. And so having a facilitator, a global facilitator, who can help students process what they're going through, what dissonance they feel throughout the day, informally or formally, that contributes to their growth and understanding of themselves as a cultural being. And so I find having a global fellow very, very helpful. I will also say that all this costs money, right? So the program is about $5,600, including airfare. And most students, including myself, don't have that out-of-pocket money. And so it's important to have funders and supporters. This year, we were really fortunate to have Mad Rose Foundation support this program. So students receive money toward their airfare and then toward the program fee. So that really helped, I think, get students over that financial threshold that would have otherwise not been possible had they not received the support from individuals like Neil Rosenthal and Saran Bukak, who was a former faculty member here at GSE. So what I see as the future of SAI now going into 20 plus years is to kind of capture the student experience, because I think that's an untapped resource. There's a lot in those wells, and I think that can be brought to center the university's or the GSE schools' efforts to look at impact from global experiences and kind of bridge that to the learning in the classroom, but then also the work that occurs from graduates once they leave Rutgers and going into schools or in their communities. What I would say to past SAI cohorts is keep those relationships with your fellow travelers. Keep the good feelings, keep the good energy that came out of your experience. I'm just delighted to see so many students who have kept in contact over the years and talk about how their SAI experience has helped shape their lives, either professionally or personally.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add?
This has been an amazing adventure. I really can't wait to come back to this place, whether it's through school or through my own journey. I'm really happy to know that my ancestral roots are still thriving. We are still resilient. We are still fearless, and we're persevering. So yes.